standards. But he quickly faced sharp pushback over his decision to cut out Washington's three main regional anthropologists, which spurred a boycott by some leaders led by the Mexican president Andrés Manuel López Obrador, dealing a blow to Biden's effort to reassert US leadership. The lineup of visiting heads of state and government in attendance was thinned down to 21 after Biden excluded Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua, prompting Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador and several other leaders to stay away in protest. We have to invest in making sure our trade is sustainable and reasonable in creating supply chains that are more resilient, more secure and more sustainable, Biden told the gala opening ceremony. Brazil and the United States should forge closer ties after the two countries drifted apart in ideological reasons. Brazil's far-right president, Jair Bolsonaro, said on Thursday at the first official meeting with his US counterpart, Joe Biden. The hastily arrangement met between the two came together after Biden reached out to Bolsonaro, a populist and admirer of ex-president of Donald Trump, as Washington sought to shore an attendance at the summit rolled by partly boycott. Leaders attending the Summit of the Americas are poised and issued a declaration pledging measures to curb illegal migration and help countries receiving large number of migrants to cope with them, according to the draft document on Thursday. The document, which was dated both 6th and 7th of June, included commitments to work on convoying banks to review their financial instruments for migrant hosting countries, as well as improving migrants' access to public and private services. This is the weekly roundup on EAC News Channel. You look back in the past week in the Kingdom of Wonder. A very good evening. I'm Anthony Ellis. Early forecasts show that the Cambodian People's Party will likely hold control of the majority of commune seats with more than 9,000 seats, followed by the Candlelight Party with more than 2,000 seats. This is according to reports and observation of the vote count, which has begun on this afternoon of Sunday the 5th of June. EAC News reporter Dashana Guchin has more.
Out of the 17 parties competing for seats in the 5th mandate Commune Sangkat Council election, only 9 parties won council seats, as stated in the unofficial results. From the total number of seats available, the CPP is reported to have won the majority, with 9,339 seats. This is followed by the Candlelight Party, with 2,192 seats, Funsinpec with 19 seats, Khmer United National Party with 13 seats, Grassroots Democratic Party with 6 seats, Cambodian National Love Party with 5 seats, Cambodian Youth Party with 3 seats, and the Kampuchea Neum Party and Beehive Social Democratic Party with 1 seat each. The 5th mandate Commune Sangkat Council election 2022 was held on Sunday 5th June, with 17 political parties participating in total. These parties competed to hold 11,622 commune council seats from 1,652 communes and districts nationwide. More than 7.1 million people went to vote out of the 9.2 million registered voters. Darshana Gochan, EAC News.
This morning at the Hyatt Hotel in Phnom Penh, the international observers gave a press conference to give their conclusion on the observation of the Commune Sangkat election held on Sunday the 5th of May. The international observers gave their conclusion on the 5th mandate Commune Sangkat election in a press conference held at the Hyatt Hotel this morning. Each organisations, AIPA, IPTP, ICAPP, independent observers, think tank, CAPDI and CDA had a representative gave a 20-minute speech giving their findings during the observation of the Commune Sangkat elections. On the 3rd and 4th of June, the observers held a meeting with the Prime Minister, Hun Sen, NEC, representatives of key political parties, local and international observers and key speakers. They were briefed on a range of issues concerning election process as well as the general situation and the democratic development of the country. On election day, all observers travelled to different polling booths throughout Cambodia to observe and report back their findings. In a conference today, all organisations and observers had the same conclusion. There was no irregularities, forced voting, enticing on voting, bribery or rigging present. They checked the ballot box, checked the ballot paper and spoke to voters. The observers also mentioned they were very impressed on how organised elections were, how smoothly things went. What impressed them the mostly was when the voter came up to vote, they had to show their personal identification to prove they were the person on their ID, and the voters were so happy to provide their ID. They noticed that the voters were happy, willing to, and enthusiastic to vote. They showed no resistance. The voters wore masks to help to combat COVID-19. One observer made it clear he had come to make sure it was all above board and that he will be very rude, tough, and very straightforward. He went to the polling booth stations where he wanted to go. The observers were also impressed on the turnout of voters and everything ran so smoothly. A few observers stated that these elections are up to international standards. The observer had to travel in other countries to observe elections and Cambodia was definitely up to their standards. The observers were also impressed that over 7 million people come to vote. That equals to nearly 78%. And the elections went as well as they did. All the international observers agreed and voiced their own opinions that everything had been done right and above board. They are all happy with the way the elections were held. The US Embassy of Cambodia has noted that Cambodia conducted communal elections on the 5th of June. Chad Rodomir, a US Embassy spokesman in Phnom Penh, told EAC News that the embassy joins many Cambodians in calling for accountability, inclusivity and transparency in the electoral process and denies participation in political rights in so many stakeholders. EAC News reported that Shana Guchin has more details.
The U.S. Embassy spokesperson said that the embassy urges authorities to strengthen multi-party democracy in Cambodia by tolerating opposing political views, fostering competition through inclusive elections, promoting the free exchange of ideas, and allowing civil society and the media to operate freely. In an interview with EAC News on Sunday, Lai Sam-ol, an 80-year-old resident of Kandal province, said she had participated in both the 1993 national elections and the Commune Council elections of 2002, as well as every election that came after. She said she was happy to go to the polls because it was the people's right to choose their favorite party to serve the public.
She's very happy to be vote, and especially she vote for her favorite one country every mandate.
Another resident of Kandal province in her 30s also told EAC News that she was happy to take part in the Commune Council elections and said she found the voting arrangement was done correctly and easily for the people to own their vote.
I'm